Can you give us specifics of things that you actually did to kind of bridge the digital and analog world? You write in your book that you hate the conversation at a barbecue or something where someone says, "We don't need libraries anymore. We have Google, right?" And I would imagine that's different for a law school, but it's kind of the same concept of like, what is the need for a library in a digital age?
Exactly. And in a way, Rebecca, that's why I wrote this book called Bibliotech, was I was so frustrated by that conversation, because what would happen at the barbecue, someone would say, oh, we don't need libraries anymore now that we can Google stuff. They would have left, right? And we're in the next conversation. And maybe, wait. No, that's actually not the case. We need libraries more than ever. So I decided to write a book arguing from a citizen's perspective, a civic perspective, why we need libraries more in a digital age and not less when we have Google. And we can get into some aspects of that. But I think really, really fundamentally, what was exciting about the digital age at that moment, and I think is still true, was that you actually can do much, much more with a library if you infuse it, I think, with the digital spirit of reaching additional people. So we'll take the law for a second. It's a very obviously narrow bit of the landscape when it comes to library, but the law is obviously critical to people's understanding of the civic space, and it can be life and death, it can be freedom or not freedom, it can be lots of money or not lots of money, it can be a job or not a job, all these things that are important. And yet, if we have an idea that we're locking up the access to that information only for a few, we're making a huge mistake from a democratic perspective. And yet, when you look at, I've noted that you have an open for all kind of theme with Maplewood. Boston Public Library has free to all over the door. The emphasis of libraries, of course, has been trying to ensure that people have the information and the knowledge that they need to be active citizens in a democracy. And a law library is a crucial piece of that. So rather than have it be only for 1,500 students at Harvard Law School or for 100 professors, what we wanted to do is to make it much more accessible, to digitize those jewels and the gems that are in there, as well as the basic law of the land. And it turns out that in the case of Harvard Law School, the idea for a long time was to collect every bit of law in the vernacular in every country in the world. And it was never actually true, but it was an effort to do that. So to make available and to digitize a mass of that information and to make it broadly available, that was a hugely important and ongoing transition for Harvard Law School.